The Zodiac Killer of New York, the serial killer. Nobody could catch New York City. 1990. A killer is loose on the streets. He is not robbing his victims. He is not targeting people he knows. He has no grudge against anyone he shoots. He is choosing them by their birthday. 3 people are already dead. 1 is permanently disabled. And the New York Police Department has no idea who he is. He is leaving letters, taunting the police, calling himself the Zodiac, signing every letter with a symbol that sent chills through the entire country 20 years earlier, a circle with a cross through it. The city that survived the son of Sam. The city that survived the crack epidemic. The city that thought it had seen everything was terrified again. And here is the part that makes this story even darker. He was never caught by detective work, never caught by forensics, never caught by the massive task force the New York Police Department assembled. He was caught because he shot his half-sister 8 years later during a domestic argument, and a single sharp-eyed detective noticed a symbol he drew on a booking form. Pure accident. If that one detective had not been paying attention that day, Heriberto Seda would have walked out of jail after serving a short sentence for a domestic shooting, and the Zodiac murders would still be officially unsolved today. This is the real story of the New York Zodiac Killer, and how close he came to getting away with it forever. March 8th, 1990, East New York. Brooklyn, 11:30 in the evening. Mario Orozco, 49 years old, a machinist, walking home from the subway after a late shift. A man approaches from behind, no warning, no words, pulls out a gun and fires a single shot into Orozco's back. Orozco collapses, the shooter runs, Orozco survives but barely. The bullet damages his spine permanently. He will never fully recover. The police investigate, no robbery, no motive, no witnesses who saw anything useful. They file it as a random shooting and move on. 2 months later, it happens again. June 4th, 1990, Highland Park, Brooklyn. Joseph Procy, 78 years old, out for his regular evening walk in the park near his home. Same approach from behind, same single shot to the back, same disappearance into the night. Prost does not survive. He dies from his injuries, same gun, same method, same complete absence of motive. But the police do not connect the 2 cases. Different precincts, different neighborhoods, just 2 more crimes in a city, drowning in crime. And then the letters start. A letter arrives at the New York Post, handwritten, rambling, filled with astrological symbols and references to zodiac signs. The writer claims he killed Joseph Procy, not because of anything Procy did, but because Procy was a Gemini, and it was the Gemini cycle. He signs the letter with the symbol. The circle with the cross, the same symbol the California Zodiac Killer used 20 years earlier when he terrorized San Francisco and was never caught. The Post contacts the New York Police Department. The police dismiss it. They receive hundreds of false confessions every year. Someone claiming to be a copycat Zodiac Killer reads exactly like attention-seeking nonsense. They file it, move on, and then a 3rd murder happens. June 21st, 1990, Central Park, 3 in the morning, Larry Parham, 30 years old, homeless, sleeping on a park bench near the reservoir. Single shot, killed instantly. The killer leaves a note pinned to a nearby tree, same handwriting as the letter to the Post, same astrological references, same symbol. The note says Parham was a Cancer, killed during the Cancer cycle. Now the New York Police Department takes it seriously. Over 100 detectives are assigned to a dedicated Zodiac task force. The operation is given a name, tips are flooding in from across the city, and then the 4th attack happens. July 1990, East New York. Brooklyn, the Zodiac approaches a couple sitting together, opens fire. The woman is shot but survives. Her companion fights back. The Zodiac flees. For the first time, there is a witness who saw his face. The police work with a sketch artist. Hispanic or light-skinned black male. Mid-20s to early 30s. Medium build, short dark hair, vague. But it is something. Another letter arrives at the Post. The Zodiac taunts the police directly. Says they will never find him. Promises to kill 12 people total. 1 for each sign of the Zodiac. He has only just begun. New York loses its mind. The New York Post runs front-page coverage for days. Zodiac Killer stalks New York. People check their astrological signs and feel genuine fear. Couples avoid going out at night. Parks feel dangerous after dark, in ways they had not since the son of Sam. And then, silence. No more attacks, no more letters, no more bodies. The task force keeps working for months, then years. Nothing. By 1992, the case is cold. Through the mid-1990s, it stays cold. Detectives retire, files get archived. The New York Zodiac becomes one of the city's great unsolved mysteries. A footnote, a rumor, a case that nobody ever cracked. And the killer is out there somewhere, living his life. Maybe planning his next move, maybe too paranoid to continue. Nobody knows. 8 years pass, June 18th, 1998. East New York, Brooklyn. A man shoots his half-sister during a domestic dispute at her apartment. She survives. The shooter barricades himself inside. A police standoff follows. Negotiators, hours of tension. Eventually, the man surrenders. His name is Heriberto Seda, 28 years old, lives in East New York, no serious criminal record, loner, unemployed, quiet, standard arrest, standard booking procedure. And then a detective notices something. When Seda is asked to sign his booking paperwork, he draws a small symbol next to his signature almost automatically, the way a person writes something they have written 1,000 times before without thinking about it. A circle with a cross through it. The detective stares at it, pulls the Zodiac files, compares the handwriting on the letters from 1990 to Seda's handwriting on the booking form. It is a match. The search of Seda's apartment produces evidence that makes investigators go quiet. Walls covered in astrological charts, handwritten notes about the zodiac signs, books on astrology and the occult, symbols drawn across every surface, and the gun, a homemade zip gun, crudely constructed. When ballistics tests come back, they confirm it. The same weapon used in the 1990 shootings. They find drafts of the letters sent to the post. Practice versions. Seda had been writing and rewriting his messages before sending them, refining his taunts. And they find a journal. In the journal, Seda had documented everything. His choice of victims, his reasoning, his plans for the remaining 8 signs he had not yet killed. He had intended to complete the full 12. He had stopped because the media attention and the police task force made him too paranoid to continue. For 8 years, he had been living in that apartment surrounded by his Zodiac materials, waiting for the moment to feel right again. The moment never came. Instead, he snapped at his half-sister over an argument, shot her, and a detective with sharp eyes noticed a symbol on a form. The trial began in 1999. Seda's defense argued mental illness, delusional, obsessed, not responsible for his actions. The prosecution presented the handwriting matches, the ballistics evidence, the materials found in the apartment, the journal. The jury convicted him on all counts in June 1999. Heriberto Seda was sentenced to 232 years in prison, effectively life without the possibility of release. At his sentencing, he showed no remorse. When asked if he had anything to say, he picked up a piece of paper and drew the Zodiac symbol and held it up for the courtroom to see. He is currently serving his sentence at Clinton Correctional Facility in upstate New York. He will die there. The New York Zodiac case exposed failures at every level of the investigation. The first 2 shootings were not connected because different precincts handled them separately with no coordination. The letter to the Post was dismissed as a hoax when it was genuine evidence. Seda had prior minor arrests. If investigators had cross-referenced the fingerprints from the Zodiac letters against existing records more thoroughly, they might have found him years earlier. And the break that finally solved the case had nothing to do with the investigation at all. It was a domestic incident completely unrelated to the Zodiac murders. And one detective, paying attention to a symbol on a form, if that detective had been distracted that day, if Seda had controlled his rage and not shot his half-sister, if he had parked legally that night, 8 years earlier, when police connected the parking ticket to his car in the Son of Sam era comparison, he might still be free today. 3 people died because of Heriberto Seda. Mario Orozco spent the rest of his life disabled. The 4th victim survived but carries that night permanently. They were chosen for no reason except the month they were born. And the man who chose them was caught by accident, not by the 100 detectives assigned to find him, by luck. That is the real story of the New York Zodiac killer. And that is almost as frightening as the murders themselves.